Can Tennessee end the streak? Number 20 Florida takes on the 11th ranked Volunteers on Saturday in a rivalry game that has seen Tennessee lose 5 straight to the Gators and lose 16 of the last 17 meetings. But the Volunteers, guys, they are on the rise under Josh Heupel. These two programs seem to be going in a little bit of different directions so far this season. And so the million-dollar question is, can Tennessee finally end the streak against Florida? That is what we're going to answer today. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for our Florida and Tennessee prediction. A huge rivalry game and a huge showdown in the SEC East. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including those expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country, guys, beating out over 80% of the national analysts each of the last 4 years, hitting over 63% of our bets so far this season. You do not want to miss out on this analysis, guys. Make sure to go take a look at that. Sign up today and become a part of our GE Nation. So let's just go ahead and jump straight into personnel. Let's just go ahead and jump straight in to the numbers and the players and what's going to truly make this game in Knoxville. Saturday afternoon, 2:30 CBS slot, college game day in appearance back at Tennessee for the first time since 2016. If you don't think the Volunteers are hyped for this game, if you don't think they're ready to end the streak in front of the national, in front of the whole entire nation with game day there, you're wrong. This is going to be a very electric atmosphere at Neyland Stadium, and it's one that Florida's offense, I'm curious to see how they handle it. Many are saying this is going to be the toughest environment for Anthony Richardson in his young career. And the million-dollar question I have to ask for Florida is, what happened offensively? What has happened to the Gators offensively? They opened the year with that top 10 victory over Utah, had 451 total yards, 283 of those coming on the ground. But since then, they lost to Kentucky in the Swamp, lost to the Wildcats by 10, only had 279 total yards on the day. They barely survived USF last week, beating the Bulls 31-28, needed them to miss the game-tying field goal in the final seconds. You look at Anthony Richardson, guys, he put it bluntly, he's not good. He is struggling mightily, and I think everybody overreacted after his phenomenal performance against Utah. I mean, look at the numbers, guys. He has thrown for 423 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Through 3 games, Anthony Richardson does not have a single passing touchdown. And we talked about that in the Kentucky game. We said we need to see him throw the ball. How is he as a passer? Clearly not that great. He's also been shut down on the run game. 134 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns on the year. That doesn't sound bad until you realize that 106 of those yards came against Utah, and all 3 of those touchdowns also came against Utah. So since the Utah game, the last 2 games, Anthony Richardson has 28 rushing yards and 0 rushing touchdowns. That's a concern. Florida and Anthony Richardson, they have definitely been pulled back offensively. They have not been as electric and as dominant offensively as we thought. They want to run the ball. The Gators are averaging 212 rushing yards per game, but they're going to need Richardson to throw. They're going to need him to improve and step up as a passer if they want to beat Tennessee on the road on Saturday. When you look at the Volunteers offense, guys, we know they're one of the best in the country. They are quite the opposite of Florida. They're consistent, they're explosive, and they can score when and where they want. 52 points per game for Josh Heupel's squad. They are lighting up the scoreboard. 371.3 passing yards per game so far this year. And Hendon Hooker, of course, putting up phenomenal numbers. 844 yards, 6 touchdowns through the air already this year. No interceptions. Doing a great job of taking care of the football. They've got a guy in Jalen Wright leading the team in rushing right now, 231 yards. You look at the wide receiver core, the guys that have caught passes. We got 4 players have over 100 reception yards, and 6 different players have at least 1 reception touchdown. So Tennessee is spreading the ball out. They're not just a one-man show. It's not just the Hendon Hooker show. He's the leader and the strength of this offense, sure, but the run game is doing a great job. The pass catchers are being spread out and utilized all across the board. It's very difficult to stop this Tennessee offense because you don't know who they're going to go to. When you've got a guy in Hendon Hooker who can also beat you on the ground but has just been phenomenal as a passer and takes such great care of the football, it's very, very tough to stop this type of offense. That, to me, is a concern for Florida defensively. Look at their defensive numbers. Florida is allowing 26.7 points per game, which isn't bad. That's not a horrible mark. The concerning mark for me is that the fact they're allowing 195.3 rushing yards per game. So the Gators, they want to run the ball offensively, but they cannot stop it defensively. Tennessee, guys, averaging 182.3 rushing yards per game. So everybody focuses so much on the passing game under Hendon Hooker, they kind of forget the fact that the Volunteers are nearly averaging 200 rushing yards per game. Florida, again, giving up over 195. So Tennessee can not only exploit the Gators through the air, but they can also definitely exploit them on the ground, which is going to take some pressure off of Hooker, which is going to set up the pass for him, and is going to allow the Tennessee offense to be balanced, not be so one-dimensional. That's a concern for the Florida defense, something they're going to have to find out a way to stop. You look at the Gators, too. They're not really creating much pressure. Only 3 sacks on the year for Florida. They have forced 5 turnovers so far this year, but 3 of them came last week against South Florida. So 5 turnovers, but 3 came in one game last week against an inferior opponent they nearly lost to. They also allowed 286 rushing yards to the Bulls last week, just to add insult to injury. And again, we're not bashing Florida here. We're just looking at the numbers and going, look, if you're allowing that many yards to the Bulls, if you're getting torched by them, they still allowed over 400 yards to Utah. How do you expect to stop one of the best offenses in the country now in Tennessee? It's going to take one heck of a performance. Again, stopping them also on their home turf. Tennessee, we knew their defense wasn't spectacular coming into the year either. We can't sit there and brag about them, right? They've improved, though. I'll give them that. Last year, the offense was the storyline. The defense was the area that needed to work. We knew the offense was going to be great again. We knew if Tennessee wanted to be special, the defense had to improve. And so far, through 3 games, they have. They're only allowing 83.3 rushing yards per game. Not a bad mark at all. And that's going to be what's interesting to me here. Florida arguably will be the best rushing team that Tennessee has faced. And the Gators, again, averaging 212 rushing yards per game. So, can Tennessee's rushing defense, facing the best rushing offense they've seen all year, can they still hold the Gators to under 100 yards? Can that 83.3 mark hold true against this Gators front, especially when it comes to containing Anthony Richardson? That's going to be a key for them. The Volunteers do allow 261.3 passing yards per game. So I'm telling you, if Anthony Richardson wants to break out, wants to have a great day through the air, this is the game. This is a Volunteer secondary that isn't all that great. Still has a few weaknesses, and one that Anthony Richardson can exploit. It's just a matter of will he. He can do it. The opportunity is there, but so far he hasn't proven to anybody that he can win a game through the air. Couldn't do it against Kentucky. Couldn't do it against South Florida. He's struggling in the passing game. And if he commits 1 or 2 turnovers in this game against Tennessee, you can chalk it up as a loss for Florida. No doubt about it. But you look at this, guys. In the lone true test that Tennessee has had, the one true test was against Pittsburgh a few weeks ago on the road. They allowed the Panthers to put up 415 yards of offense against them, and 274 of them coming through the air. 274 passing yards against Keaton Slovis and the Panthers. Tennessee did win that game in overtime on the road, but still 415 yards they allowed. Florida has the talent and the speed and the size to put up similar numbers, no doubt about it. But I don't see Anthony Richardson putting up 274 yards through the air. So what Tennessee has to do is stop the run. If they shut down the Florida ground game, force Anthony Richardson to throw, and in doing so, keep him contained in the pocket, don't allow him to extend plays, don't allow him to beat you on the ground, Tennessee wins this game easy. So Volunteers, they've got to stop the run. Florida, they've got to find a way to make Tennessee one-dimensional. Tennessee can beat you on the ground and through the air. They've got to find a way to take away one of them and take it away significantly all day long. So what's going to happen, guys? What's going to happen Saturday afternoon, beautiful day in Knoxville, Neyland Stadium, the historic Neyland Stadium, college game day and appearance. To me, guys, this is a no-brainer. Tennessee will win this game. And I think they win it comfortably. I really do. I think there's so much excitement surrounding this game. Tennessee is hungry to end their 5-game losing streak to the Gators. Again, been dominated in this series, losing 16 of the last 17, losing 5 straight. These two teams, guys, to me, are heading in different directions. Florida was overhyped from the beginning. One good win over Utah. They catapulted to the top 12. They're still a top 20 team. Really disagree with that. They have been overrated since the beginning. Tennessee is going to exploit that on Saturday. with the home crowd on their side, with this offense against a struggling Florida defense, with this Florida offense that's struggling against an improving Tennessee defense, I just don't see the Volunteers losing this game. Josh Heupel and his squad will remain undefeated, will end the streak, and should enter Week 5 as a top 10 team. Talk about a turnaround down in Knoxville. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including those expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Make sure to check those out. Sign up for those today for some of the best spread picks in the entire country for one of the lowest prices in the entire country. Make sure to sign up. Take advantage of those today. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.